This dish, you're gonna need a pasta bowl, a saucepan, and a other bowl. And then you're also gonna need kosher salt for the pasta water, at least a cup of Parmesan or Pecorino. Pecorino's preferred, but this is Parmesan. Bucatini noodles, olive oil, 4 eggs, and a decent amount of bacon. This is really meaty, so I'm only using 3 pieces. It's important when you're making your pasta to pour a shit ton of salt into the water, because it's just gonna flavor the pasta. So you're gonna get your bacon and you're gonna cut it into really small pieces. Can you see it? Because you're gonna want it to get all in your pasta. It's gonna be delicious. So make sure you cut it up nice and small before you fry it up in the saucepan. Make the egg wash, which is, it's like the sauce. And so it's really simple. All you do is you get your eggs, you crack 3 whole eggs into your bowl. And make sure you don't get any shells in them, like I just did. Shells taste gross. Pro tip, if you want to get your shells out, just use a shell, like I just did. And then, so get those. And then for the last one, you just want to use the yolk. And so, whoops, you can just hold it over a trash can and use the shells to pass it to and fro. Get the, come on, there you go. And then you kind of just, you can also use your fingers, which is actually probably a little easier. Just dump it in there, just kind of pass it. There you go, you got your little orb. And it's important, if you want it to be a little more creamy, you can use more than 1 egg yolk, but I just like to use 1. And then when you get a whisk, which we don't have, so I will use a spoon. And then you add 1 cup of grated cheese. That's good. And then you just kind of whip it together. Make sure you break up all the chunks of the cheese. This works much better with a whisk, obviously. We do not have a whisk. You should get this kind of lovely velvety cheese mix. You whip it nice and good. And there's no need to salt this because the Parmesan cheese is already really salty as it is, and then you'll have the natural salt that you put in the pasta water. And make sure that's all broken up until it's like homogeneous. And then you just get some pepper. Put a decent amount in there. There you go. Hello, we're back. So I just put like 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil in this pan. It's gotten hot, and then our pasta water has started boiling. So you're gonna want to obviously cook your pasta in the pasta water. That's easy. And then just put all of the bacon, oh yeah, in here. And you're gonna wanna cook the bacon until it's gotten small and it's almost like crispy. So that should take a couple of minutes. And a very important part of cooking the pasta is you wanna conserve, when the pasta is almost about al dente, you're gonna wanna conserve about 1 cup of the pasta cooking liquid because when you're making your sauce and combining everything with the egg mixture, sometimes it can get a little too thick, and you can use the reserved pasta water to thin out the sauce. Okay, so our bacon is finished cooking. So that's kind of what you want. And make sure, there was a lot of grease in there, so what I did is I just got some paper towels and like sopped it up. Because you don't want a ton of grease on your pasta. And this is all done. Got my cup of cooking or pasta liquid. And then we're just going to put our pasta in here. And make sure you're doing this off the burner. That's very important because when you add your egg mixture, you don't want it on the burner because then you're gonna have scrambled eggs in your pasta and no one wants that. So get all that. And if you get some water on the pasta into the pot, it's not a big deal either because you just have to use less of that. I like to use tongs for this. It's easier to just get everything got together. And we just add our sauce. And even though it's raw eggs, this will cook and make it safe to eat once you pour it on the pasta because of the heat from the pasta, the heat, residual heat from the pan and the bacon, and so it'll all be good. And you just kind of incorporate all of that, and that's basically it. Make sure you get all that bacon mixed in there too. Bucatini is a really good option for this recipe because bucatini is hollow on the inside, and so all this saucy goodness gets inside the noodle as well as outside of it, which is delicious. And then this is a little thick, so I'm gonna add some of my pasta water. Make sure when you're taking the pasta water out of the your pasta pot, make sure it's closer to when the pasta is done cooking, because as the pasta cooks, more of that starch will get released into the water and make the flavor a lot better. And there you go, carbonara. If you want to make your pasta look extra fancy, you grab your pasta, and as you're putting it onto the plate, you rotate the bowl and it rests nicely in a little formation. And then you want to just top that shit. And some fresh cracked egg. There you go. Pro tip. I forgot to mention, while you're making this, it's best to use guanciale, which is pork jowl. It's really fatty and delicious. It's kind of hard to find. So you can substitute that for the bacon, and you can also substitute the bacon for pancetta, and it crisps up a little better when you use pancetta because it's a lot thinner and less fatty.
Yes.